जीसस का एक प्रसिद्ध वचन है, जो बचाएंगे वो खो देंगे और जो खोने को राजी है उनका बच जाता है. What it means is that Jesus says that one who goes on accumulating is bound to lose someday, and one who is willing to lose everything is bound to gain someday. Second house is all about accumulating. It all depends on the quality of the horoscope. If it is too materialistic, then the person is too much focused on accumulating money, wealth, jewelry, and all kind of treasures of this material world. However, if the kundali or the horoscope has a certain spiritual touch, it has a certain conjunctions that signify spirituality within the person, then this nature of accumulation is bound to turn into the nature of letting go. So it all depends on the quality of the horoscope. On the base level, this moon placement gives attachment towards accumulating. This moon placement gives attachment towards family. This moon placement gives a lot of attraction towards various food recipes. It makes you a foodie. And if Venus is with moon in this placement, then the person doesn't have control on his eating or on her eating habits. They eat a lot. They like to eat all kind of delicacies. The main essence of this placement is that asakti, attachment towards accumulating, attachment towards family, attachment towards money, and attachment towards all the treasures of life. Now, as I mentioned, it all depends on the person, because the definition of treasure for a person can be limited to money, whereas for another person the definition of treasure can be related with something that is of higher dreams, something that is of higher consciousness. So it all depends on what kind of person's horoscope you are observing. For someone who is a Buddha, for him the definition of treasure is not bank balance. The definition of treasure is the real essence of this human life, the knowledge, the wisdom of this human life. Whereas for a common person, for a common man, the definition of treasure is simply to accumulate more and more money, to have a fat bank balance, to have 2-3 properties, to have 2-3 cars. So it all depends on person to person. In this podcast, I will shed more light on moon in second house. So let's begin. Life has a certain depth as long as you are living your life with certain principles, certain ethics, certain values. Second house moon is much focused on living with awareness. That is why Jupiter feels very comfortable in this house because second house is the house that signify values, traditions and family lineage. Parampara. Moon in second house brings the feeling of being proud of one's family lineage. These natives are the ones who staunchly believe that blood is thicker than water, meaning they will give importance to the member of their family than to an outsider. These natives are very much family people. To them, family comes first. The most significant attribute of second house moon is the tendency of accumulating. They just love to accumulate, whether it is money, jewelry, or certain antique collections. But the nature of accumulating exists. If other planets in the birth chart are supportive, then this nature of accumulation leads to a good fat bank balance. However, if the second house lord is weak, then saving account of these natives is always fluctuating. If today they have a good bank balance, then tomorrow they may have a zero bank balance. Fluctuation in savings is often seen with this placement. Moon in second house generally gives a beautiful attractive face, just like the Purnima moon, just like the full moon. The moon on the day of Purnima looks so beautiful, so full, so attractive. It is said that Buddha was born on full moon day. Buddha attained enlightenment on full moon day, and Buddha left his body on full moon day. Full moon day is a very auspicious day, and the person with moon in second house also is auspicious. It is said that certain people have a certain auspiciousness around their face, that if you look at their face, then your day will be good. Second house moon has this potential to give this auspiciousness to the face of these natives, that they are lucky. Whosoever looks at them becomes lucky. Moon in the first house, that is in the ascendant, gives a beautiful physical body, whereas moon in the second house gives a beautiful face. Especially if moon is with Venus in second house, then the woman is really a beauty, a charm, a diva. This placement makes the person talkative by nature. They like to talk a lot. They are good when it comes to participating in group discussions or in any conversations as such. They are good speakers as well as they are good writers. They are inclined towards philosophical discussions. Second house moon gives a strong inclination towards following certain ethics, principles. These natives give much importance to living ethical life. Values means a lot to them. Reminds me of the great British Prime Minister Winston Churchill. Even though Hitler continued to bomb over England and hundreds of Britishers were dying, still this man was not willing to give up. He was not willing to surrender. One of his significant quote is, "We shall fight on beaches, we shall fight on the landing grounds, we shall fight in fields and in the streets, we shall fight in the hills, but we shall never surrender." Winston Churchill was a man of substance and of a great character. His focus on following certain values and principles made him a great man. All the great things are simple and many can be expressed in a single word: freedom, justice, honor, duty, mercy, hope, says Winston Churchill. Winston Churchill is widely considered as one of the 20th century's most significant figures. Churchill remains popular in the UK and Western world, where he is seen as a victorious wartime leader who played an important role in defending Europe's liberal democracy against the spread of fascism. He is also praised as a social reformer. A quick look at Winston Churchill's birth chart. As you can see, Moon is placed in the second house in Purva Falguni Nakshatra. His moon sign was Leo and he lived like a lion. One of his significant quote is, "It was the nation and the race dwelling all around the globe that had the lion's heart. I had the luck to be called upon to give the roar." Winston Churchill became the Prime Minister of England on 10th May 1940, a time when the Second World War was going on. His first speech as Prime Minister was as follows: "I would say to the House that I have nothing to offer but blood, toil, tears and sweat. We have before us an ordeal of the most grievous kind. You ask, what is our policy? I will say, it is to wage war by sea, land and air with all our might and with all the strength that God can give us. To wage war against a monstrous tyranny, never surpassed in the dark, lamentable catalogue of human crime. That is our policy. You ask what is our aim? I can answer in one word. It is victory. Victory at all costs. Victory in spite of all terror. Victory, however long and hard the road may be. For without victory, there is no survival." Moon in second house, especially in a dharma sign such as Leo, Sagittarius or Aries, gives birth to a man of conviction. Winston Churchill himself quotes on the significance of being a man of conviction. He quotes, "One man with conviction will overwhelm 100 who have only opinions." Jiddu Krishnamurti was also a man of conviction, a great philosopher, a great writer and a great speaker. He is regarded as one of the greatest spiritual dignitary. Here is a quick look at Jiddu Krishnamurti's birth chart. As you can see, his moon is placed in second house, Mula Nakshatra, in Sagittarius sign. Mula is a highly spiritual nakshatra which takes great interest in the philosophy of life. In oneself lies the whole world, and if you know how to look and learn, the door is there and the key is in your hand. Nobody on earth can give you either the key or the door to open except yourself, says Jiddu Krishnamurti. Second house moon in an evolved soul is a great placement. However, in a shallow man's birth chart, this placement makes the native very much money minded. He or she is too much focused on money, money and only money. Remember, money can give all that is outward, things of this world. Nothing is wrong in them. Nothing is wrong in having a beautiful house. Nothing is wrong in having a beautiful garden. Money can give it to you. But money cannot give you love. That is expecting too much from poor money. The placement of moon in second house in a shallow person's chart signify that he is much attached to money And when you get attached to money, you block your self growth. And that is like signing your death warrant. A man who is too greedy about money, by and by starts having the qualities of money. He becomes just money. He loses spirituality. He is no more a spirit. He is reduced to a thing. If you love money, you will become like money. If you love your house, by and by you will become material. Whatsoever you love, you become. Love is alchemical. Never love the wrong thing because it will transform you. Nothing is so transforming as love. Love something which can raise you higher to higher altitudes. Love something beyond you. The negative result of this placement, especially in a shallow man's chart, is that the man with this placement often is deprived of love. And so he goes on accumulating money. Because after love, if there is anything that can make you feel secure, then it is money. And so to such a native, money becomes a substitute to love. And so he continues to accumulate money. Always remember, a creative person is never behind money. He cannot possess money because the moment he possesses money, he loses himself. He is not in touch with his self. And one who is connected with his own self is called Swami. That is what we call to a person who is connected with his own self. In India, we call such a person a Swami. Remember, a creative person possesses his own being. He is a master. That's why in India we have been calling sannyasis as Swamis. Swami means a master. Beggars have been called Swamis, masters. Emperors we have known, but they proved in the final account, in the final conclusion of their lives, that they were beggars. A man who is after money and power and prestige is a beggar because he continuously begs. He has nothing to give to the world. Somebody asked, then how can one with this placement overcome the tendency of accumulating money? The answer is simple. The tendency of accumulating money can stop when love arrives in your life. Because it is only love that can make you feel secure. But when love is missing, the tendency to accumulate money is seen. Because after love, it is money that brings a sense of security. Yesterday Mohan said that his friend have had a breakup and now he is eating a lot. He has absolutely no control on his food intake. He goes on eating and eating. I said to Mohan, too much obsession with food is because now there is no love in his life. If you are not loved well, you will eat more. If you are loved and you can love, you will eat less. Whenever someone loves you, you cannot eat more. Love fills you so much. You don't feel empty. When there is no love, you feel empty. Something has to be stuffed in. And then you go on eating unlimited food. That's what your friend is doing. He will stop overeating only when love re-enters in his life. And this is exactly what happens with second house moon natives. They overeat. They indulge in eating many delicacies. They continue to accumulate piles and piles of money because love is missing. And so to overcome the negative results of second house moon placement, the native should focus on finding love. Because it is only love that can bring peace to your heart. The best advice to second house moon natives is very simple and straight. Focus on your needs and not on your desires. Become a person of needs and not of desires. If you can become a person of need and not of desires, then you are already on the path, and heaven is not far off. Have you seen certain people? From the very morning they start cleaning their car as if that is their Bible and that is their God. Things, lifeless things, is the first sleep. If you are attached too much to things and continuously thinking of things, you are asleep there. You are living with ignorance. You have to come out of that. You have to look at what type of attachments you have, where you cling, and for what. What are you going to get there? You may increase your things, you may accumulate a vast empire, but when you die, you will go without things. Second house moon natives should realize this. They should stop giving importance to things on the outside and start focusing within. Else, the tendency of being too attached to money and things in life will simply bring more miseries in your life than otherwise. Meditate. Jai Sri Ganesha. Jai Guru. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha.